In the late 8th century, there emerged a shadow upon the icy waters of Scandinavia. From the misty fjords and rugged cliffs of the north came an extraordinary force, the Vikings. Raiders, traders, settlers, these Norsemen have been remembered for centuries for their daring and ingenuity, leaving an irreplaceable stamp on human history. But who were they really? What lay behind their fearless ventures and indomitable spirit? Let's plunge into the riveting tale of these Nordic adventurers. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at the Vikings the same way again. The year is 793 CE, and all is calm at the Lindisfarne Monastery, located on a small island off the northeast coast of England. Monks go about their peaceful lives, tending to prayers and scripture, but then, it happens. A fleet of longships emerges on the horizon like phantoms out of the sea. The first documented Viking raid has begun, and European shores would never feel safe again. The attack on Lindisfarne Monastery was not just a shock, it was a seismic event, marking the beginning of what we now know as the Viking Age. The mastery of the Viking longship allowed them to penetrate deep into coastal towns and monasteries with terrifying speed. Built for both the high seas and shallow rivers, these vessels could strike like bolts of lightning, leaving destruction in their wake before vanishing just as swiftly. Residents of coastal areas from the British Isles to the Mediterranean feared these unpredictable warriors. Within moments, towns would reek of blood and smoke. Yet, these raids weren't random. They were carefully calculated. The Vikings sought wealth, gold, silver, and treasures of great value. Monasteries, in particular, were prime targets. Isolated and brimming with riches, they were ill-equipped to defend themselves. Behind these fearsome raids stood legendary leaders, whose exploits would pass into myth and history alike. Ragnar Lothbrok, for instance, a name immortalized in sagas, was one of the most cunning and audacious warriors of his time. And then, there was Ivar the Boneless, whose ruthlessness and ambition knew no bounds. These figures exemplified courage and strategist brilliance, embodying the primal force of the Scandinavian peoples. But the Vikings were not just destroyers. If we shine a light on the other side of their culture, we see enterprising traders and explorers that spanned continents. The Norse didn't merely raid, they connected. Picture this: a Viking merchant carefully arranging fine furs and amber to barter for dazzling silks or fragrant spices. They traded with lands as far as the Middle East, Byzantium, and Asia. Coins from Baghdad have been discovered in Viking burials, a testament to their far-reaching trade. And then there were their legendary voyages. Equipped with unrivaled knowledge of the stars, sea currents, and winds, the Vikings sailed into the unknown. Notable among these journeys is that of Leif Erikson. Around the year 1000 CE, Leif and his crew reached what they called Vinland, believed to be present-day Newfoundland, Canada. That's right, they were the first Europeans to set foot in North America, nearly 500 years before Christopher Columbus. But their exploration didn't stop there. The Vikings ventured east, founding critical trade hubs such as Novgorod and Kiev, which played roles in the emergence of early Russian states. With every voyage and settlement, they exchanged culture, technology, and ideas. Crossing paths with the Middle Eastern Abbasids or the Byzantine Empire, they embraced new customs while leaving behind their unique cultural imprints. Their journeys and interactions proved that the Vikings were more than conquerors. They were cultural conduits, bridging the medieval world through exploration and commerce. Their expansive reach touched lives far beyond their Scandinavian homelands. As the Viking raiding expeditions began to wane, another phase emerged: settlement. These Norsemen transformed foreign lands into home, settling on vast territories and shaping the very fabric of local societies. Take Iceland, for example, an untouched, volcanic island in the northern Atlantic. The arrival of Viking settlers in the late 9th century marked the beginning of a unique Norse society. Iceland became a haven for Vikings seeking freedom and opportunities. They established some of the very first democratic institutions, such as the Althing, a parliament that still exists today, making it one of the oldest governing systems in the world. Greenland and beyond also witnessed Norse settlements. Even areas as far-flung as Ireland, Scotland, and northern England bore the mark of Viking communities. In the British Isles, the Danelaw, a region of England under Norse law, thrived, blending Viking and Anglo-Saxon customs and creating a unique cultural mosaic. Beyond their role as settlers, the Vikings were innovators. Their craftsmanship still astounds us today. They were renowned for their shipbuilding technology, allowing them to construct vessels capable not only of raiding, but also of crossing oceans. Their intricate jewelry and carved runestones showcased an artistry that intertwined the spiritual with the aesthetic. Even in agriculture, they pioneered techniques that adapted to the harsh Nordic environment, ensuring surplus food for their people. Moreover, Viking legal codes predated some of the formal systematization of laws seen elsewhere. They enforced a sophisticated system of governance, showing that these barbarians, as some scholars once labeled them, were anything but lawless. The Norse legacy of commerce, civil systems, and craftsmanship is undeniable. By the 11th century, the Viking Age came to an end, brought down by a combination of Christianization, evolving European defenses, and transformations within their own societies. Yet, the legacy of the Vikings remains carved into the annals of human history. From the terror of their raids to the expanse of their trading networks, from breathtaking settlements to the artistic beauty of their runestones, the Vikings were masters of adaptation and endurance. But beyond the artifacts and written accounts, there is something intangible yet vital we inherit from the Vikings. A spirit of adventure, a willingness to brave the unknown, to leave familiar shores for distant lands full of uncertainty, an ability to turn challenge into innovation. So the next time you see a replica of a Viking longship or hear tales of mythical Norse gods, remember, these were not simply tales of myth and legend. The Vikings were real, far more complex and far-reaching than they are often given credit for. They bridged worlds, blending might with craft, conquest with commerce, and myth with reality. If you're as captivated by the Vikings as we are, hit that like button, share your favorite Viking tale in the comments, and subscribe for more incredible journeys through history. Thank you for joining us on this voyage back in time. Until the next chapter in our adventure, farewell, modern-day adventurers.